Welcome to this latest episode of Weekly Insights with Joanie. And all the materials and the slides for this episode are edited excerpts from my new online course, Finding True Love, which is exclusively on udemy.com. So what we're going to talk about today in this video is how to celebrate your age every day. Am I feeling a few, I don't know, out there? Think about this for a minute. When you think about your age, think about when you were 5 and the next day you were going to be 6. Do you remember how excited you were to be that new age? So let's talk about first why accepting whatever age you are now isn't as wonderful or as exciting as it felt when you went from 5 to 6. Most people wouldn't immediately correlate the connection between age and self-love. Yet, when we reframe our perception of what aging means, we can reframe our perception of self-love. Take, for instance, how much the need to be loved and valued and desired is connected to how people perceive themselves in relationship to their age. Can you relate to this in your own life? Well, if not, you probably know someone who can. Now, there may be many reasons why age affects your perception of self-love and self-worth. And so we're going to talk about next how to change that. We're going to talk about that in the next slides. The narrative of aging that we see in society varies greatly for specific age groups, but this is not new. Since the 1950s and continuing to this day, being young is perceived through the eyes of excitement and vitality. If you're young, the world is your oyster. But this changes drastically the older one gets in age. For those nearing their 40s and 50s, getting older gets distorted. Life begins to be perceived through the eyes of fear, scarcity, and limitation. For example, a belief may accept as truth is that the older you get, the less opportunities there are for you to love. Another belief is that the older you get, your quality of life suffers. This creates an environment where people look at themselves as not being pretty enough, good enough, or even wealthy enough to be loved. Obviously, not all stories about aging are negative, but yet when we look at it, the similarities between the negative and positive stories that are told for when you are young and when you get to be older are very much similar. For decades, advertisements and stories that are directed at young children and teenagers reinforce the idea that when you become an adult, you have freedom. For example, in your youth, how many times did you or your friends stretch the truth about your age in order to be seen as older than you were? Ironically, as we age, our focus changes to staying young. Whereas when we were young, we wanted to get older. Whether you are young or old, the perception of what can be accomplished at a specific age places limits on your perceived value, and it takes you out of the present moment. When you are young, you see more value in being older. This robs you of the innocence of youth. Then comes a point where getting older is no longer perceived as a good thing. This steals away the joy of life and sets you on a path of not loving your authentic self. On the upcoming 2 slides, I want to give you some suggestions for how to rewrite the myth of aging, and also the pointer about that journaling allows you to be reconnected with yourself and start to re-love yourself at whatever age you are at this moment. To offset the inner trauma and reconcile the wounds from not feeling you are worthy of true love is an inside job. To begin, start by reinterpreting your beliefs about aging. This involves reframing your perception about how worthy you are to be loved, no matter your age. To help you integrate what you are learning, I'm going to now take you through 3 journal prompts. Create some time to journal your answers to the following. What limiting beliefs do you have about aging that are getting in the way of enjoying your life in the present moment? Of these beliefs, which ones are you willing to let go of because you know that it will open a floodgate of love, happiness, and fulfillment in your life? And in what ways can you love more of yourself by appreciating who you are at your current age? Now, to conclude this episode, the final slide is a 30-day action plan to celebrate your age every day. Create some time to engage in the following. Create a list of new ways you can celebrate your age every day. For the next 30 days, do one thing every day to celebrate and embrace your youth, regardless of your age. Few things will ignite your creativity, fill your body with blissful energy, and empower you like celebrating your youthful essence every day. Thank you so much for watching this episode. And for more information on finding true love, please visit udemy.com. And I look forward to you joining me for my next episode of Weekly Insights with Joanie. And until then, remember, every morning, look into your mirror, smile at yourself and say, I am my own best friend, for I came into this world to be myself. For that I came. Thank you and all my best.